Ethan Crumbley, who's accused of killing 4 people and injuring 7 others in a shooting at a Michigan high school last month, is back in court today. The 15-year-old faces more than 20 charges, including 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of terrorism causing death. At today's hearing, prosecutors and his defense team will discuss how to proceed with the case. According to Education Week, there have been 31 reported school shootings in 2021 with injuries and death. 12 people have been killed and 53 others hurt. Children and teens made up 9 of the 12 deaths. With more on the Oxford High School shooting, CBS Detroit reporter April Morton joins us now to discuss. April, so of course we know that the shooting took place on November 30th. Since then, how has that incident impacted the community now going about 2 weeks later?
Well, good morning, Vlad and Anna Marie. Yes, we are 2 weeks. Tomorrow will make 2 weeks since this horrible tragedy occurred here in our community. And it has actually brought the community closer together. Everywhere you look, within miles of Oxford High School, you see the words Oxford Strong. You see it in storefront windows. You see it on kiosks of everything from banks to theaters to other schools. It has really brought this community together. But it has also made a lot of people within the community a little bit angry because they're just trying to understand exactly why did this happen, and there's still so many questions to be answered.
So today, Ethan Crumbley is set to appear in court. It's going to be a probable cause hearing. It's sort of procedural, but still important. Can you explain sort of why this court date is important and what it will lead to?
Yeah, well, of course, today the judge will determine if there is enough evidence to justify the charges brought about against Ethan. As we know, he's facing 24 charges, including 1 count of terrorism causing death, 4 counts of first-degree murder, 7 counts of assault with intent to murder, and 12 counts of a possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony. So those are, of course, some extremely serious charges against this 15-year-old that's being charged as an adult. And of course, we're expecting, what we're hearing from legal analysts is that we're expecting for the defense attorney to probably request more time today during this probable cause hearing because there is so much evidence being presented. So we're thinking maybe the defense will try and buy some more time and also maybe request a mental competency evaluation for Ethan. And, so we'll just wait and see exactly what's going to happen at 1:15 today.
Some legal experts said that Crumbley's defense could seek a mental competency evaluation to determine whether he understands the charges against him. I guess the question I think a lot of people are going to have is how would his mental health factor into what we already know about him? Had there been other incidents at the school that one could point to? Is there a history of mental health issues with Ethan Crumbley?
Well, we know that Ethan, the morning of the shooting was, drawing out pictures depicting kids, students being shot. So pretty much everything that pretty much played out, he put down in paper. So there had been some other incidents that happened leading up to the shooting that would question his mental stability. And that's where it comes into play why the parents were charged because, the prosecutor is saying that they actually knew that Ethan Crumbley was suffering from some type of mental breakdown, some type of mental illness, and they purchased a gun for him. So that definitely is going to be brought up, I'm pretty sure. And if mental health comes into play, charges could possibly be lessened.
Well, you sort of shed a little light on the question that I was going to ask you right now, is to remind everyone that both of his parents, Jennifer and James Crumbley, are also facing charges. Their charges are involuntary manslaughter. They're going to have a probable cause hearing. It's coming up tomorrow. And obviously the type of evidence will be different in their cases for manslaughter. But can you just remind people of how significant this is to see the parents of an alleged school shooter facing manslaughter charges themselves?
Well, Anne Marie, this is definitely a historic moment here in Michigan and probably throughout the country, where within just a couple of days, you're going to see a 15-year-old going to a probable cause hearing. And the very next day, his parents also going to a probable cause hearing, like you mentioned, being charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Now, of course, we're not sure exactly how this is going to go, but the reason why they're facing these very serious charges is because Karen McDonald, the Oakland County prosecutor, said that these parents knew, like I mentioned before, that things were not right with Ethan, that he, had some of these feelings. And there were text messages from Jennifer Crumbley to Ethan the day or so leading up to the shooting, saying something to the fact of, I'm not mad at you, but just try not to get caught. And that is in reference to Ethan searching for ammo on his cell phone and a teacher, reporting that. So, parents knew that, something was not right with him, but yet instead, the Friday before the shooting, they purchased a gun for their 15-year-old son.
And finally, what do we know about the families of the 4 students that were killed in the shooting? What have they been saying to you, other reporters? What kind of justice are they seeking?
The families of the deceased have not actually spoken out as of yet. We are expecting, of course, for them to speak out. But right now, as you can understand, they're grieving. All the funerals took place last week, the last one on Thursday. So right now, those families are, they're still in mourning. This is around the holidays, as you can imagine. This has to be an extremely difficult time for them. So I don't think they're interested in even speaking out at this point. But I'm pretty sure somewhere in the near future, we will hear from them.
So in the meantime, 2 lawsuits have been filed by an attorney representing a survivor of the shooting and their sibling, and they are going after the school district. What can you tell us?
Yes, well, this is a high-profile attorney by the name of Jeffrey Feiger. He's known mainly here in Michigan, but he has also taken on some pretty big national cases, including Columbine. 20 years ago, he represented a couple of family members there. But he is seeking out for the family, the France family. 2 federal lawsuits have been filed, totaling up to $100 million for this family. Now, the family of Bella and Riley, they are actually students at Oxford High School. So Riley was shot during the shooting, and it was pretty horrific, her wounds. She has since been released from the hospital, but what Feiger says is that the chances of her survival rate for the type of wound she endured is just 2%. And, so she's going to have a long road to recovery. Her 14-year-old sister, Bella, was right there to witness her sister being gunned down right in front of her. She was not injured. However, bullets, barely missed her. So she witnessed her sister being gunned down, as well as some friends there at Oxford. And of course, she would probably be, traumatized for the rest of her life because of this. So that is what the lawsuit is saying, that this has caused trauma to Bella, the 14-year-old that experienced her sister being gunned down in front of her, as well as trauma and therapy probably for the rest of her life for Riley, 17-year-old that was shot during this horrific shootout and crime.
April, Morton, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So the probable cause hearing in the case against Ethan Crumbley is expected to begin at 1:15 p.m. Eastern. You can stream it live right here on CBSN.